Well, a new Nanos research survey done for CTV News shows Mark Carney is still the top pick to replace Justin Trudeau as Liberal leader, but more Canadians say they don't like any of the choices. Now, more than one quarter of respondents said none of the candidates appeal to them. 18% chose Mark Carney. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tied at 11%. And to talk more about our country's political landscape, look who we have, Nik Nanos, the founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research. Nik, how are you, sir?
Fine, thanks, Roger. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Those interesting numbers. None of the above, eh? Always a favorite.
Well, welcome to Canadian politics. Not a good week for the Liberals, I guess. None of the above at 26, unsure at 14. That means 4 out of every 10 aren't enthusiastic about any of the choices, including the current leader of the Liberal Party.
What does the party even do with something like that? How do they even respond?
Well, parties, let's face it, they're trailing the Conservatives in the polls. They're probably looking for a savior. Roger, right now, no savior for the Liberal Party of Canada. Why don't we just say that? They've got to hope that somehow Pierre Poilievre makes a mistake, because right now, looking at who might be the leader, including Justin Trudeau, not really great numbers. Mark Carney does the best. So, that's positive. Maybe it's a Carney-Trudeau tag team. Not to sound like it's a wrestling match, but maybe something like that might help a little bit, but not a lot of enthusiasm right now.
No, I don't know what there is they can do about that. And the Conservatives, looking at the numbers, 40% support again?
Yeah, absolutely. The Conservatives are back at about 4 out of every 10 Canadians give them a tip of the hat. The Liberals back 16 points at 24, NDP at 21. The reality is that it's kind of like at 4 out of every 10. It's still a big win. Are we sounding like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day? Me and you kind of like still a big win for the Conservatives.
Right now, but a year is a lifetime in politics, and in theory, we're less than a year away from the election. So, but when it comes to leaders, though, Trudeau's made a little gain on Poilievre.
Yeah,
you're shaking your head.
That's the statistical nod of the head, or whatever, waving of the head, or shaking of the head. Anyways, ask Canadians who they prefer as Prime Minister. Pierre Poilievre, 36% almost would prefer him as Prime Minister. Trudeau's 14 points back or thereabouts at around 21. The movement for Trudeau is within the margin of error. We'll have to see whether that is a new trend, but right now he's still 14 points back. A little bit of negative pressure numerically on Singh at around 15 points, but the ballot numbers are still good for the Conservatives. The PM numbers are still good for Pierre Poilievre, and this goes back to what we said at the beginning, Roger. Not a lot of enthusiasm for any of the possible choices, including the current choice of the leader of the Liberal Party, Justin Trudeau, and Liberals kind of mired, trailing significally the Conservatives.
All right, and let's talk about with the new president in the new old president in the U.S., Trump coming back in. Which of our leaders does Canada want to see deal with him?
Oh, was there another election this week, Roger?
No, I didn't notice.
No, you didn't. You didn't notice?
No, very quiet.
Yeah, I know.
Very quiet.
Yeah, that's because that's why we're so zen-like. Why don't we say that? I won't say happy or sad. Zen-like. Yeah. Well, we wanted to go back, a survey that we did with CTV News ahead of the election, asking Canadians who they trusted most to deal with the outcome, whatever that might be. And, what we saw, that Justin Trudeau actually nudged out ahead of Pierre Poilievre, 38-31. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he has dealt with Donald Trump in the past, managed to conclude the USMCA agreement with the Trump administration. So a bit of an advantage, but, still 20% or 1 out of every 5 say they don't trust either of them to kind of deal with the outcome of the election. Another 8% said that there's no difference. But yeah, so a little bit of an advantage for Justin Trudeau, probably because he has a track record and he managed to get Canada through the Trump administration.
All right. It's going to be interesting. No doubt about that. Nik, thank you as always, sir.
Take it easy.